These mid-size trucks are embarrassing big brother. And I'm going to explain what I mean by that in a second. I borrowed this truck from Jerry Seiner, Buick GMC here in South Jordan, Utah. This truck is available for sale. Be sure to ask for Frank. Let's go ahead and check out the window sticker so you guys can see pricing and options on this build. At the very top is a description. And you guys see the colors. Here's a short listing of the standard equipment. Be sure to pause to see more. Base price comes in at $54,300, and here are all the options. The AT4X AEV edition is $10,100, but it does have a lot of features in there, so be sure to pause to see all of it. Multimatic jounce control was $2,595. Sunroof was $1,000. Off-road drive shaft was $695. I'll show that to you guys here in a second because I haven't seen it before either. Underbody cameras were $500. Onyx black was $495. And this one has the black exhaust tip for $225 and all the black badges. Destination comes in at $1,595 with a total price of, oh my goodness, $71,700. And here are the fuel economy numbers off to the side. I'm sure you've heard it said 100 times that Ram trucks are super overpriced. GMC was like, hold my beer. This is a mid-size pickup truck, and if you didn't get a discount and if you pay over MSRP, you could pay in the 80 grand range for this truck. But you have to understand something. If you want the most hardcore pickup truck you can buy, it's all done for you right here. One thing I like about the GMC Canyon is that wide stance. You get it standard, but when you get this AEV, or really if you get the AT4X, they give you the wider fender flares, which makes it even more aggressive. And yes, on the front end, full LED headlights and fog lights. You also get the red recovery hooks down below. Oh, by the way, steel front bumpers. Now there's a little bit of, oh no, plastic's right here, but this is all steel too. Plastic here, but all this is steel, which is nice. I like that. There is no winch. That is available, however. Down below, more hard skid plates. Active grille shutters. Front camera. And then you have that bronze appearance on the grille too. But yeah, this truck is definitely really aggressive. Now let's take a quick peek at this suspension. Most people know this by now. Independent front suspension, dual or double wishbone, and those look to be steel for sure. Coilover setup with the Multimatic DSSV, which is dynamic suspension spool valve. So they don't use deflective discs like you normally see on shock absorbers. They actually have spool valves, so you do have a oil chamber in there too. And yes, this is for that high-speed off-road performance. And you guys see back there? Let's go on the other side for a second. This also has the jounce stops too. So those were $2,600. It's on all four corners, and that's just going to help with stability on the trails basically. I don't know if I would spend the money for them. That's a lot of money, but yes, if you want the most hardcore off-road pickup, here it is. Now you guys can see the tires here. These might be the biggest tires you can get on a mid-size pickup in the segment. These are 315/70/17. These are the Goodyear Wrangler Territory MTs. B-lock wheels. So yeah, 17-inch, and these are the AEV wheels. They're the Saltas. See how they protect that valve stem for you too if you do go off-road and get pretty aggressive there. As far as the capacity goes, 2,535 pounds, 35 PSI. Can't wait to show you guys the yellow sticker on the door. That's pretty funny when you see what they recommend on the door sticker. I don't think that they talk to each other with these tires, but yes, this is the most aggressive tire in the segment. I did drive a ZR2 with the same tires. I will link that video at the end. I'm not going to drive this truck today. I don't have the time. But if you care to know the inches for the tires, these are actually not a true 35. These are like 35, or excuse me, they're 34.5 rounded off. So 34.4 inches is the actual inches for the height, and 12.4 inches wide. So it is a really wide tire, and it does fit this truck perfectly. So as I said, earlier. The reason why this truck is embarrassing Big Brother, which is the 1500s, is because you can't get 35-inch tires on that truck. Now obviously you can get it on the HD AT4X, but mid-size pickup trucks are rocking basically 35-inch tires. That should not happen. They should have already had a package for 2025 ready to go to get the 35s. But nevertheless, that's why you're gonna pay more for this truck. I mean, you guys saw those joust stops for $2,600. That Multimatic suspension is probably double that, you know, when it's all said and done. And this truck just has a really nice stance. You get the clearance lights on the fender flares here, and they have like a lot of nice styling on them too. Painted mirror caps, cameras. There's the blackout for your badging. That should come standard on this truck at this price point, but hey, we're not going to be picky. Smart key system for the front doors, and all this trimming around the windows is painted too. Blind spot monitoring, and then this one does have the rock rails. Now I mentioned this on the ZR2 video that I did. I like what Toyota does. You know, hey, I got to give them some accolades here. So they don't add these rock rails onto the framing, and I just like to see that, because if someone actually does slide on a rock, these are supported on the cab. Well, you want to protect the cab, right? Why wouldn't you put those on the framing? So that's just my only pet peeve. This is where you're going to fill up at. Regular fuel is what they recommend with this too. And here's the other joust stop right there. More of that Multimatic out back. They do give you the fabric liner in the rear too. And you guys see the leaf pack there? You have 4 leaves in that main pack. That bottom one's going to be a helper spring. Hopefully you guys can see it. Right there. Very tight fit in the rear with these tires. I almost would like to see 37s now. AEV rear bumpers. And notice how they sit a little bit higher than the factory ones too, to give you just a little bit more clearance. You do lose your steps, but you do pick up some recovery loops or hooks out back right here. Rear parking sensors. You probably noticed on the front end there were no parking sensors. Receiver hitch. And you have a 3 and 4 pin camera, and more blackout for the badging in the rear. They don't do it on the GMC and the AEV badge, however. For your tail lights, you have some LED accent lights, but you're gonna have incandescent bulbs for everything else though. Assisted tailgate. And then you have those tie downs. 400 watts too, by the way. They gave you the AT4X badge on the front of the bed too. And of course, there is your spare tire. So I'm willing to bet you the reason why they put it here is because those 35s won't fit below, because as you can probably see, there's no tire under here. Now you guys can see right there, you do have a diff cover to protect that diff if you slide over some rocks. And then let's just go back right here. You guys can see you have a cover for that fuel tank. And then there is the off-road drive shaft. And then you have more skid plates on the front end too of this truck. I think that this drive shaft that they gave you originally was like an aluminum one. So that's gonna probably lower your payload on this truck. Although you don't buy this truck for payload, you buy this truck for looking cool for sure. Or going off-road if that's what you intend to do. I doubt it though. For $72,000, it is a good looking truck though, gotta admit. Under the hood of this $72,000 pickup is a 2.7 liter inline-4 turbocharged engine. And before you judge, it's gonna have 310 horsepower and 430 pound-feet of torque. All that power goes through an 8-speed transmission, 342 rear end. Also, it does have a more rigid cylinder block casting, 30% stiffer crankshaft, and the bottom end is pretty overbuilt on this engine. If that doesn't help you and sway you, know this too. They use this same powertrain in the half tons, which can tow nearly 10,000 pounds. So at the end of the day, I would like to see another engine option in GM products, like for the SUVs and for this truck. And maybe, just maybe, it won't increase the price too much. Let's go ahead and check out the interior. Inside the Canyon AT4X, they do something very, very different. They give you white treatment to the interior, and it pops for sure. Now back to the door, you guys can see they give you this nice graphic and some satin. All this is leather wrapped, including this white. You have that red stitching right there. But I will say, hard plastics on the front doors. However, you have the seat memories there, auto up and down for just the front window, auto down for everything else. No power folding outside mirrors. You can see on the dash here, more satin with that red and white soft touch right there. But again, hard plastics on the dash. Now on the seats, check this out. You have a 10-way seat, including lumbar support. Also, they give you perforated leather, more of that red stitching, and then they have like this fabric material for the piping right there. They do have that AEV stitch in the headrest, and more of that white and red accent with the AT4X badge right there. Tilt and telescoping steering wheel. Let's go ahead and check out the passenger side. On the passenger side, you're going to have an 8-way seat, including the lumbar, just like the Ford Ranger Raptor too. That's where Toyota Tacoma kind of cleans up at. On the dash, you can see more of that white with that red stitching. They did a great job overall with the design. They do give you a grab handle on this side as well. More of that white leather. Out back, they do take away that design here and they just give you this plastic, but you still have soft touch. Seat back pockets on both sides, 60/40 bench too. Let's see if I can show you under the seat here. There's actually really no storage under there, but you guys see you have some USBs, air vents. There's also a 120 volt power plug down there, and I apologize, I should have removed all the stuff out of here, but I have a ton of videos on these trucks, so you can always go back and look at my other ones too. Cup holders, and you can pop the headrest down for better visibility. Defrost, but they give you a manual sliding glass. I want to say every other truck is giving you power back here. And then here's that roof. They give you these grab handles. Let's go ahead and jump back over to the driver's seat. They do provide a dimmer, trailer brake, and they have 3 auxiliary switches right there. Push button start. And then this one does have adaptive cruise control, heated steering wheel, and then this will control your 12-inch display right here. They do give you the navigation for this screen. And they have different displays that you can see too. I like what they've done with this setup here. This is like your off-road pages. Heads-up display right there. 11.3-inch display. Now this screen here is fully customizable. You can move things around. You can take things out of this menu. Actually right there you can do that. Now you probably noticed you didn't have any lighting controls. They do put everything in this screen here. If you go to vehicle status, this is probably one of my favorite things. Hopefully the half tons and the HD segment gets this, because I like the fact that they give you your temperatures for like your transmission fluid, oil pressure, coolant temperature, battery voltage. Love that. Trip information is over here. You can also move some of this stuff over to this screen if you'd like. And then if you care to see like your brake pad life, tire pressure, fluid and filters, all that is there. Now there's one button you have to know about, and this one right here. These are all the controls that you normally would see outside the screen, now in the screen here. Like, so your fog lights, heads up display can be controlled in here. This does have heated and ventilated seats, and you have those buttons on the outside, dual climate control, that can all be controlled there as well. If you go to see more controls, they kind of simplify it like this. But yeah, I don't see that this truck has home link. I just noticed that, by the way. This is how you control your sunroof. Your inside interior lights are actually incandescent bulbs, by the way, too. So yeah, there's a few things I would like to see them do for this truck. Now, you guys probably saw it had all the cameras. So you have the 360 camera view. You don't have like a bed view, but if you guys saw on that window sticker, you did have these cameras here. So you can see underneath the truck. Let's see if I put it back in drive. There we go. So now you can see like that. They also have a camera for the front and then the underbody, and then they have like the front and rear too. And like I said, this is the front of the truck, so the front camera, and then this is the bottom of the front underbody camera there. You can also wash off the cameras too. Let's go back to this view so you can see that. So there you go. So if the cameras get dirty, you can wash them off. And yeah, there's so many things that really come handy. Like this has front and rear lockers, and you don't really see that on trucks. I mean, granted, again, this truck's expensive, but yeah, you have a lot of nice features. They give you 2 USBs. You have your wireless charger. You can put all the windows down. Auxiliary switches right here too. Electronic parking brake, all your drive modes. They do show up on this screen. So you have off-road, normal, Baja, terrain, tow haul, and that is pretty much it. And it goes back to off-road. 4-wheel drive auto. No paddle shifters, however. The competitors are giving that too, but red stitching on this like vinyl material for the center armrest. You have a removable tray inside of here with a 12-volt plug right there. Let's go ahead and check out the numbers on the door so you guys see the axle ratings and the payload for this truck. Gross axle weight rating out front is going to be 3,500 pounds. The rear is 3,400 pounds. Gross vehicle weight rating is going to be 6,350 pounds. And the wheels are 17 by 8.5 wide. All in payload is like a Jeep Wrangler, 880 pounds, 36 PSI for the door sticker. If you don't remember, the tire pressure on here was what? Max is 35. So it's actually a little bit higher. So obviously you have to run at the tire spec versus what the factory tells you to run them at. But I hope you guys liked the video. This truck is definitely nice. As I said, most people are tired of driving cars. You know, I see someone who has an Audi S3 but just wants something a little bit more fun to go off-road or go on camping trips with. This is the next best thing here. And yeah, it is available for sale if you'd like to purchase it. See you guys soon.